Okay, so we're gonna take a look at Monopoly at this point. We're just gonna take a look at the basic graph here for Monopoly. The first thing I need to point out is that our demand curve is above our marginal revenue curve. That's one of the main differences between a monopoly and a perfectly competitive firm. The demand curve is downward sloping like a traditional demand curve, and that is because in order to sell additional units, a monopolist must cut the price. And the reason the marginal revenue curve is below the demand curve is because when you cut the price, you're not only cutting it on the current unit, but you have to go back and cut it on all prior units, which is why marginal revenue goes down with each additional unit. So a couple things about this graph is, number one, we are going to have a marginal cost curve like we did for perfect competition. And then we are also going to have an ATC curve. Now there is an ABC curve as well, but for the most part we will leave that off of this graph. Sometimes you'll see it, it'll be on there, sometimes not. But for the purpose of what we're trying to do here, I'm going to leave it off. And now we're going to go through the steps we always have to follow to figure out what a monopolist or any type of firm will produce. Step one is that we find the point where MR equals MC. And that is right there. All right, so step one is you find that point. Step two, you drop a line down to the x-axis and you label that our quantity. All right, that is how much the monopoly will actually produce. The next step is to take a dotted line up to the demand curve and then over the y-axis, and that is our price for the monopoly. All right, always has to do, you always have to do those two steps. All right, and only once you do that can you figure out the profit or the loss. You go back from the demand curve to where that same line intersects ATC, which is right there, and then you can draw another line across, and the distance between price and ATC represents our area of profit. To calculate our profit or loss, it is price minus ATC and all of that times our quantity. And we have to go to MR equals MC to find all of those, to find our quantity, to find our price, and to find ATC. So that's the basics of Monopoly. Okay, bye.